The first question I have is, do you find the races boring because you're out in front by yourself, or do you find it calming because that's exactly what you want?
Definitely not boring. Definitely not calming, because people are always chasing, and it's like anything could happen in a race such that like any lead can just like go away like that. So it's like, it's a race. I don't know, that's probably not the answer you wanted, but.
No, I'm really interested because you're spending so much time out in front of these races for hours by yourself at this point, and watching it, it's kind of like a foregone conclusion about 10 minutes into the bike, and that's how it feels as a spectator. But I want to know what it feels like being in your head in that time when we think it's so obvious that you're just going to win this race.
Oh, I didn't really think it was a foregone conclusion at any point of the race yesterday. But that was just me, and it was, I really wanted to I saw the first time split to Julie, and I'm like, okay. And then based on kind of what time split I had at the end of the first lap, I'm like, okay, like how can you build it up each lap? Because I don't want to drop off. And then on the run, it's also key of like, how fast is the time split going down? And also accounting for, I might fall off a little bit. So you can't, it's I do a lot of math during the races, but that calms me, I guess.
So do you have to build something up in your head? Like Julie Duron obviously ran 4.5-ish minutes faster than you at Ibiza, and without that penalty, you still would have won, but it would have been closer. So then in training and then going into this race, do you have to build that up in your head to sort of fire you up, or are you just naturally always wanting to be better and better and don't want to let anyone get close to you, so that's sort of what motivates you more?
Well, it was interesting because I think I learned, and I saw how someone can get pulled from their process very quickly. And it's like, I trust my team that we're making the quickest progress we can make. And we're working on it, and we're working on a lot of things and working on improving. And so then it's like, okay, Julie comes in with that really fast run, and I can see how you can all of a sudden get turned around and like try to, I don't know, like one thing I could have done in between Ibiza and now is like just like go crazy on the run training. We didn't do that. We have a very step-by-step plan, and I don't think it influenced it at all, but I saw kind of like, I guess the trap you can fall into with insecurity or concern, but I have a really good team around me who keeps me level-headed, mostly.
Talk to me about Julie Duron. So you've had that kind of rivalry. It's not really a rivalry, but a really close competitive rivalry with Ash Gentle that it does seem like you've got the better of this year. And then Julie Duron comes around and she's running a little bit faster than Ash over this distance, a minute faster than her in Ibiza. Do you now kind of see Julie Duron as maybe the person who is going to push you for the next year or so in the 2025 T100 World Tour and even the grand final in a couple of weeks' time?
Depending on how long Julie and I race, I hope that we're pushing each other for the next decade. Like, she's not that old.
Yeah.
I'm 26, I think she's 28.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's also like, she came out of the water ahead of me in Paris. There are worlds where she comes out of the swim ahead of me. That's a very different race than yesterday. She has a wicked bike and a wicked run, and it's kind of, you're seeing, I think, a lot of the, like, very complete athletes. Like, someone who's flying really under the radar, I think, is Flora. And in part because, like, when she improves her time trialing ability, like, she outran me and she outswam me. So it's like, you just have these athletes, and that's the tough part when it's like, they're strong at everything.
Okay, so you're doing a lot of math while you're out there on course in your head, but you're spending probably 3 to 3.5 hours by yourself in most of these races. What else is going through your head?
That's a good question. I felt like I was just like in a really good rhythm. I have, like, instead of, Dan gives me a plan for the race, and it's very like, if you, like, And this section, like this course was really easy to break up in your head because it was like on the bike and the run, you had like climbing sections and descending sections. And so it's like, what do I need to do in this part of the race? And I had my plan, and then you execute. And it's not going to go perfectly, but you do what you can in each moment. So it's a lot about executing.
Do you ever think about things that aren't the race or aren't how you're feeling? Do you ever let your mind wander into like singing a song or thinking about stuff in your day-to-day life or other people? Or
well, my day-to-day life is triathlon, so I'm pretty safe with that one. Don't have a lot more going on. So, no, not that I can think of. I think after a race, especially when it goes well for me, I don't remember a lot of it. So it's like, it's this space where I'm just like living and fully present, but not really like judging it or thinking about it. And it's just like, it's really nice.
what makes you so much better on the bike than everyone else over this distance?
I don't know. That's probably not the answer you want. But like I don't know, like I never really, like I've worked a lot on my swim and I've worked a lot on my run, and my cycling I still need to work on my skills a lot.
Which were better yesterday, by the way. That's
no,
the best one for you this year, right?
No, it's the roundabouts I still was not pleased with. And then there was this one section coming back out of one roundabout that I think I nailed it on the 5th lap a lot better, but I wasn't happy with how I was maintaining speed and momentum and doing it, so.
Which race have you been better technically at than that this year?
Oh, good point.
I thought you were good yesterday. Actually,
my best race technically was not a T100 race. It was the time trial in Charleston.
Yeah.
Because there were only 4 turns. So that was brilliant because it was like I didn't have to really go around. Like the roundabouts are just killing me right now, and I can't find any in Boulder that are the same. So I just need to start practicing. But it's also on the speed concept versus on my road bike, which I'm loving right now.
So going back, you've worked really hard on your swim, really hard on your run. You've never had to really work that hard on your bike. Not to say you haven't worked that hard, but it's never been a focused thing. It's just comes natural to you.
Yeah, that sounds awful. Like I love like working hard on the bike, but it's like it's just like I can find a rhythm, and I can tell you what really good riding feels like. But I can't, and there are a lot of not really good rides that I have, because like when I have a really good ride, like that's a good ride.
Have you had one in a race this year?
I would say my time trial in Charleston.
Yep. Like
the power was just flowing, and then in the Olympics in the time trial before I crashed, I was starting to. It was like I was just opening up, and that's how it like almost feels. I don't know, it's like hard to describe in terms of like when you're looking at your power meter, or this is how it feels for me, but so no, not really in a T100 yet, but it's what it is.
Do you think that your bike can still get better, or does all of your evolution come from your swim and your run?
No, my bike has 100% gotten better. I mean, the race I'm talking about, the time trial, my new coach helped tremendously in a year, because I did the time trial nationals the previous year, and I was a lot better. Like it was a longer race. It was a 40-minute versus 30-minute race, and my watts were much higher. And then also my position, that's probably the biggest area. I've never been into a wind tunnel on my TT bike.
Yeah, wow.
And I don't really I haven't tested my suits and stuff like that. So then you get into like more of the technical details, I think, like helmet choice, but like those will come.
Are you secretive with your power numbers, or are you, if you want to know them, I'll tell you type of thing?
No, I'm quite secretive with my power numbers, but I don't think they're that impressive.
So why are you secretive with them?
Why not?
Yeah.
What do I have to gain by telling people?
Well, it's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because some pros will tell you everything and share everything, and some will share nothing. So I just want to know the mentality behind someone who is secretive about it versus someone who's open about it.
Well, I think I think I come from the position where if everything's going great, it's easy to share. It's easy to be open. It's easy to be like, here's what I'm doing. When things aren't going great, what do you want your default to be? So if things aren't going great for me, I'm not going to be posting on Instagram, but that's my default, so no one knows.
Yeah.
And so it's more like, okay, I want to prepare for the harder times and that I don't add an extra stress on an already stressful time.
Okay, that makes sense.
And like and also I think it's like I don't want to be pulled from my process,
Yeah.
which is something that I can see could be something you could fall into if you're sharing everything. And also, like, there's an art of being quiet that people don't know anymore. And like, I have my team. When you have like voices, you don't want too many chefs in the kitchen. And so I pick the people who I hear from like directly. Like,
Talk to me about that, the art of being quiet. Expand.
well, like sometimes you don't have to say something. And especially, like, it was almost, I don't know if you were at the press conference, but Sam Long was asked a question. And I was just like, the person who asked the question, I was like, that is really unnecessary. You're putting this guy in a really not nice position. Like, why are you doing that?
Do you remember what the question was?
Yes, I do.
What was it?
I don't really want to elaborate on it. But
Was it bad? It was a bad question.
yeah, it was like, how are you, like, when Leo grows up and he looks at it and he goes on YouTube and he sees your interaction with Sam Laidlow, what are you going to say about that? And it was just like, geez, like, I'm guessing that Leo is going to meet Sam Laidlow first and foremost and get to know him as a person. And then if he happens upon this buried video from decades ago of his dad, it's going to be like, oh, that was funny because I know these two humans now. Like,
Yeah.
you forget that we're human.
Yeah. It's
So,
also a pretty mild video, really. Nothing too much happened.
yeah, but like, why? Like that? It just.
I know.
It's 24 hours before a race. Like,
Yeah.
just please, like, don't take advantage of us.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, that's like, yeah.
So the art of being quiet, do you think that applies to the guy asking the question there, or Sam Long, or both?
No, I think the guy asking the question, like, and you know what, he can ask whatever he wants. People can do whatever they want to do, but like, the unnecessary comments, like, life is hard enough,
Yeah.
triathlon is hard enough, and adding to that, like, I don't want to add any extra stress in my life.
So is the main way you do that by controlling your team and your environment?
Yeah, and I also, like, I'm not super public. I don't post a lot, I don't share a lot, and that's probably, it's more for like the 2% of people who would make my life hell because of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
You have started doing some YouTube videos and stuff though.
That was last year.
Yeah, I have noticed they kind of a bit infrequent.
Well, yeah, because that's also another way of, like, when I post something and someone's like, oh, you've posted, finally. It's like that just doesn't make me want to post anymore.
Yeah, okay.
Because like now, if you are one of my partners and you are contacting me directly and it's like, Taylor, you need to post, I will respect that. Like, we're mutual, like, we're partners.
Yeah.
That's different. Like, and I don't have to post anything unless we have an agreement.
The grand final's coming up. Julie Duron's obviously now on the scene. Ash Gentle's there. Where's your mentality going into it? Are you just the same old Taylor, your process, doing your thing, or do you allow yourself to think about your competition at all?
Well, I'm aware of them. I don't live under a rock. But also in terms of, like, motivation for me, I think, like, competition, like, it excites me and it gets the best out of me. And so when I'm concerned about them, like in 2016, I knew I was racing Cassandra Beaugrand in Junior Worlds. This is 2016.
Yeah.
She got me out of bed every single morning.
Wow.
Every single morning. And I have her to thank because for a whole year, she made me a better person, an athlete, and like, just like in the imagined idea of her.
Yeah.
And you see what she's doing now. Like, she's incredible. And I guess I was rightfully scared. But that's where it's like, when your competition fuels you to be better, like I use that a lot. But at the same time, I need to stick to my process, and like we have 27 days and I need to recover from this race and get ready for the next.
Well, Taylor, 3 from 3 this year. You do seem pretty dominant. I'm not too worried about you for the grand final, but I like where your head's at, and because that's where your head's at, no doubt it'll be 4 from 4. So thanks for doing a little walk and talk.
Thank you for having me.